Okay, welcome back, guys. We are up here in our upstairs bathroom, which is not totally finished, which is why you can still see the subfloor. And what we're going to be doing is we're making a brooder because sometime this week we are having 30 or 29 baby chicks show up. We got 29 egg layers from McMurray Hatchery, and we're going to be building them a brooder in our upstairs bathroom. We're going to keep them inside for about however long it takes for them to get their big feathers and for them to be able to regulate temperature and everything, and then we'll move them outside once it's a little warmer out. So let's get going. So it's kind of tight in here. I'm going to do the best I can showing you how we're going to build this. We have some couple pieces of plywood that I've already cut down to length. Our brooder's going to be 2 feet tall and then 7 foot by 4 foot wide. So let's get going and build this. It's going to be super simple to build. All the wood involved to build this cost 40 bucks, right?
Yeah.
20 bucks sheet of plywood, $15, a couple 2x4s. So it's gonna be super simple and you don't need a lot. Let's get it fits here. So like I said, this is a super easy brooder to build. It cost under $40 and we basically made a box out of plywood and used 2x4s for the corners, or to connect the corners. So we had a 7 foot long side, 2 4 foot long sides, and then an 8 foot long side, and that just kind of stuck over so we didn't have to cut it again. Once it was all screwed together, we were done. It was super stable, which was nice, and yeah, that's pretty much it for the structure. We're getting about 30, and they're going to be real small when we start off, and we don't want to have such a big open area that they're going to like get lost and stuff. So we're going to keep it a little smaller at first, and then as they grow, we're going to expand it. So we're just going to move this out. They don't need the whole 7 feet right away. We'll just give them about 4 or so. And that's super stable, actually. I didn't think it was going to be that stable. That's not going anywhere. And since the chicks will be living in it, we put this crawl space liner down to protect our subfloor from getting wet from any of their feces. You could use just a tarp or like a thin piece of plastic as well. We just had this left over, so we used it, and it worked out pretty good. Alright, so I haven't done this in so long. I don't know how much this will take. It's quite a bit. I probably want to get a couple inches on the ground for them. We spread about 2 inches of these pine shavings down. That way they would have a good base to soak up all of their feces. And then you just want to make sure you're not using cedar, because cedar has oils in it that can affect the chicks and kind of harm them. So one thing I want to note real quick is there's a couple different schools of thought about the type of flooring and surface chicks need to walk on. I don't think anyone disagrees with the statement that they need a firm surface to walk on, but some people say put down newspapers above the bedding for the first week or so. Some people say put paper towels. I read somewhere that someone puts down just a towel on top of it. And then people just put them straight on this bedding as well. I haven't really decided what we're gonna do. We might do paper towels for the first day or two, just to give them something to walk on and so they don't try to eat this. But that is another reason we went with a medium type flake instead of just the real fine stuff that you can get as well, because the real fine stuff looks more like their food than this does to me. At least I'm not chicken though. So we'll see. We kind of got to make our decision. We'll probably make it as we're going to pick them up. But there's that. Alright, so now we're going to talk about what we're putting in our brooder besides chickens. So we got a couple different types of feeders for them. We got this linear feeder. And we actually have 3 of these. And then we also have this gravity fed feeder. This can hold 7 pounds, and this could probably hold 3 pounds, 2 or 3 pounds. And we have 3 of those, like I said. But one thing to note with these is if you can see the difference in the height, we're probably going to end up using just this one at first, until the birds get a little bigger, and then they can reach into this guy to eat. And then again, since we have 30 birds, we're gonna have 2 different types of waters. They're both gravity fed waters. Basically do the same thing. They're both 1 gallon. They just are both screw top, super simple, normal waters.
This one has little legs so you can pick it up off the ground. Yep. Once they get bigger as well.
In our water, when we first get our chickens, we're We're gonna put some probiotics. We just got the probiotics you can get at like Cal Ranch or Tractor Supply. We'll put 2 of them in each for the first couple days while we have them, and then after that we will stop using probiotics in them, and we'll just be drinking regular water.
We also did electrolytes as well.
Yeah, probiotics and electrolytes. And then
let's talk about heat. This is a hover brooder that we got, and it has these little pegs to adjust height, so the chicks don't have to like crouch down to get underneath it, because it heats from the top of the, yeah, see, it's the bottom of the plate and heats it down. Yes. To the chicks. And so you can adjust it, the height as they grow, so they can always fit underneath of it.
And supposedly it's just like it's like an alternative to a heat lamp, and is more like kind of mama bird, hiding them under her wings, so it might make them feel a little bit more at ease and a little bit more homey. But this should be enough to fit our 30 chicks. If it's not,
however,
we got just a normal heat lamp if we need to supplement their heat at all. And we do have kind of a big space. I think this should be enough for them when they're babies, but as we expand it to the 4x8, we might use one of these guys just to give them a couple more spots of heat, so all the big birds aren't trying to gather under this or anything to try to get heat. So we'll probably move their heat somewhere more centralized like that. And then we have to kind of have it on this side because of where it needs to plug in.
We only have one feeder.
Over here so that they can get to it. And then we'll probably start with this water, because I feel like they have the less likelihood of drowning in this water, because this water has a little more space where they could fall in. That water isn't. This is a little deeper. That's not as deep. So I'll probably do this. We may end up putting those up on blocks so that they don't get the bedding real wet around it. But for now, I think this is good. They have range of motion around the hover brooder. They can get all around that. They can get all around that. And if we have issues with corners, we'll address it as that comes.
Alright, so this is how we set up our brooder. We will put a link to all the stuff that we got for them in the description. Let us know how you set up your brooder. We'd be interested in knowing that. And we will see you all when we get the chicks.
I look like shit. Good. Hair best?
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh my god, what the fuck?
Jackson, we were just asleep.
Going on the internet.
It's not the first time.
It is 7:30 in the morning, and we are on our way to pick up our baby chicks. We got the call. They should be just here, right around the corner. So we should be there in a second, and we'll see how they're doing. Get them back home and get them all warmed up and toasty, and get them some water and some food. So well, most of them look all good. So maybe
they're sleeping in the corner.
I don't know if they're sleeping.
They're sleeping.
Most of them look pretty good, right?
Yeah, they all look okay.
Except for that one in the corner.
No, he looks okay.
Just poke him. He's awake. Didn't make it. No?
Nope, his eyes open.
Oh, perfect. Okay, we'll see you guys when we get home. Electrolytes and probiotics into the thing. Oh, it's orange. I didn't expect that. Okay. Alright. Seems a little better.
Yeah, I can see the water and it's on.
So when you're putting your chicks in your brooder, you want to make sure that you dip their beaks into the water before you put them in there, and that way you get a little bit of that water on their beak and they know where it is so they can go back and drink. If you guys don't get your chicks drinking and eating right away, they can kind of go downhill quickly. So you want to get them eating and drinking as quick as you can. Now we did have one little chick that wasn't doing so great. It was the first one I put in, as you saw, kind of stumbled around. And what we did after we got all the rest of the chicks in is we kind of took him out. We kept dipping his beak into the water so he kept drinking a little more. And then we held him by the heater to warm him up a little quicker. And now he's doing great. And then the other thing is the second day, when we got up, we had a chick that had a limp. And then he ended up dying a little later that day, and we found him that night when we got home from work. So I'm not exactly sure what happened there. It could have been anything really. I just don't know. I mean, it's kind of a rough transition going from halfway across the country in, freezing weather. So it could have really been anything, but that's the only issue we've had so far with our little chicks. They came in about 2 days, and McMurray Hatcheries does put a little green goo type thing in the box with them to help try to hydrate them and get some electrolytes and stuff in them when they're shipping, which is nice. The other thing we did after we got them all in the brooder is we took our heat lamp and put our heat lamp over them, and that just helped to kind of warm them up a little quicker. Their heat lamp is definitely a lot hotter than the hover plate, just because it's more directed in one spot. And that, like I said, helped to warm them up a little quicker. And then once we got them warmed up from their trip, we then took that away, and they've just been using the hover brooder ever since, and they seem very happy with that. Okay, so real quick, we just want to talk about the types of chickens that we're getting. These are all going to be egg-laying chickens, and we got 3 females of each of these types. So the first one we got is a blue Cochin chicken, and it's going to lay cream to brown-colored eggs.
The next one we got is Buff Rocks, and they're going to lay brown-colored eggs.
Then we got, I don't know how to pronounce this.
Cuckoo.
Is it Cuckoo Morans, which are going to lay a dark-colored eggs. These were actually our second choice. We were going to get French Copper Morans, but those are pretty popular, and McMurray Hatcheries didn't have any of those.
And then the next one we got is Cream Leg Bar chicks, and they're going to lay blue eggs.
And then Speckled Sussex chicks, which also lay brown eggs.
Silvered Spangled Leg Bar chicks, which will lay white eggs.
The next one is Well Summer, which they lay dark brown eggs.
And then the next one is Whiting True Blue, and they'll lay blue eggs.
And then the last type of chicken we got was a Whiting True Green, which lay a green tinted egg. And in this one, we actually got 2 male chicks as well. So we have 2 roosters of the Whiting True Greens. And then in here as well, McMurray Hatchery gives you a free chick, and they don't tell you what type of chick it is. So we'll see what we get, or if we can identify it later on. And we also don't know if it's a male or a female. So if you have any questions about the type of chicks we're getting or any of our brooder setup, make sure you leave those down below in the comments. Make sure you hit that like button for us and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I hope to see you guys soon, and actually stay tuned for next week, and we will be planting our orchard. So that's going to be very exciting. We will see you guys later.